The last update for the Steam application came with a somewhat peculiar but interesting new feature that now allows you to record your gameplay. Now I know what some of you are thinking because I thought it myself. Why? After all, recording game footage on a PC has been something that has been pretty accessible. Needless to say, my interest grew, and as a result, I decided to create this video to give you an overview of this new recording option and go through some initial setup steps. Now, if you're using a PC and wondering why on earth did Steam decide to add this feature all of a sudden, I think I figured out the answer to that. It mainly lies in the Steam Deck. Technically, the Steam Deck is a handheld device, though we know it's pretty much a PC in handheld form. With that being said, I never really thought about how one would go about recording gameplay outside of the usual way one might by using some sort of capturing device. Having this feature at least gives you the option to record directly from the Steam Deck, and that certainly saves you a bit of money. Most console devices these days have a game recording feature, so it makes sense that the Steam Deck would want to have that as well. With that being said, this recording feature is also available for the PC, and with all the options you have to record on PC, why would you want to use this one? We'll get to that in a second, but first let's go over some steps. The first thing you need to do in order to use this feature is update the Steam application. Normally, Steam will automatically update the minute you open the application, but when I tried this initially, it did not update right away. It actually took a few times before the update went into effect, so just keep this in mind if you are trying to use this feature. This is the current version the feature is available on. You can check this for yourself by going to the help section in the Steam menu and going to About Steam. Once you have downloaded and installed the latest version of Steam, you can now go into settings and the game recording options should be available. Let's take a look at some of the options. There should be 3 options. The record in the background option will instantly start recording your gameplay the minute your game launches in Steam. This is the option I'm going to use for this example. I should also mention that this feature also works with non-Steam games, but you will have to add your non-Steam game to the Steam library. I have a video with steps on how to do this in a video I'll drop in the top right hand corner. Here you'll be able to determine the length of recording, which is 120 minutes by default, the quality, which determines the bitrate and file size of the recording folder location, options for using hardware or software encoding, and an option for using H.265 or H.264, and your frame rate limit. I don't see any reason to fool with any of these settings, so I'll leave them all at the current default. Now you're all set to record. Select your game of choice and start playing. For this example, I'm playing Spirit Cross Strike. I did something that I thought was pretty cool and I want to get a clip of this. Open the Steam overlay. This may take you directly to the record option for the first time, where you'll be met with a small tutorial to explain the options. As you can see here, you have a few things available, with the biggest one being the timeline. Hovering your cursor over the timeline will give you a small thumbnail to show where you currently are on the timeline. There is also the playhead, which marks the current position of your recording on the timeline. You can move this to any point of the recording by just selecting a spot on the timeline. You can also watch a preview of your recording by clicking the Show Video tab. Wherever the playhead is currently located, it will show up here. The clip option is what I'll use to get a portion of the gameplay I like seeing. When you click this, additional options will appear. A yellow bar should appear on the timeline. This is what you will use to choose the beginning and end of the recording you want to clip. You have the option of physically dragging the beginning or ending of what you want clipped on the timeline, but I personally found it easier to first use the start and end clip options instead. To use it, you just need to make sure your playhead is in the location you want to start the clip. Once you have the location, click on the Start Clip option. You can also use the Replay Clip option to make sure you are at the desired starting point. After you've gotten your clip to where you want it to be, you can then use the Save Share option. As you can see, there are several options available, but for this example, I want to save it directly to my PC. To do this, I choose the Export Clip option. This will bring up a new window where I can choose my file location, resolution, which uses your in-game resolution as the maximum, frame rate, and bit rate. I do want to mention that your maximum bitrate is ultimately determined by the in-game resolution. I'm fine with the options as they are, so now all I have to do is export the video and check to make sure it's saved and is working. Now, one thing you have to remember about the background option is that as long as you're in the game, it is recording to your storage device. You definitely don't want to have these recordings taking up your storage. To remove them, you just have to go back into your recording settings and set the option to either recording off or recording manually. Doing this will prompt a window that will give you the option to delete your current recordings. As I mentioned before, recording gameplay footage on PC was always possible, but I have to admit that the Steam recording option makes the process a bit more streamlined. Personally, I've used Nvidia's recording feature, and I find it never really gelled with me to the point I only use the manual record feature. Using Steam's method of recording is pretty straightforward in my opinion, but before I finish this video, I do want to mention one more thing. If you're new to recording gameplay from your PC, there's one thing you have to remember. Recording requires resources, and those resources can affect the performance of your game. If you're looking to do benchmarking tests with your gameplay, you are playing competitively, or you just want to have the best experience while you're gaming, you definitely want to consider capturing from another device. Hopefully this video has given you some insight into using the new Steam recording feature. If you thought this information was helpful, please make sure to give the video a like, and maybe even consider subscribing, as I will definitely be recording a lot more game footage and setup guides like these in the future. For now, this is the Core, your entertainment techie, signing out.